One Piece chapter 1131 is here. This has felt like, somehow it's felt like a longer break than normal. I mean, I know that it was 2 weeks instead of the one, but we've had more, you know, not 1 week breaks lately. And this one, for some reason, just felt so long to me. So we're back. We're on Elbaf. And the chapter starts off with Luffy just going off, just non-stop chatter. He's so excited to be here. He's so excited for Usopp to get to the top of the tree and for everybody to see what's going on this island, so much so that he won't even let Loki get a word in, which is so, at least to me, it comes off as very abnormal for Luffy. I'm used to him being excited. I'm used to him rushing into whatever and not thinking. I'm used to him either making a great judge of character, being able to see through who a character is and judge them swiftly, or, you know, just like be completely tricked by the most lackluster disguise or lie possible. I'm used to a lot of Luffy's, but Chatterbox Luffy is one that I don't feel like I encounter a lot of. And so we have this giant who's chained by just all the sea stone, or sea prism stone, I mean, just all the sea prism stone in the world, except for the little bits that they've allowed other islands to use because they just needed the whole supply right here, taking care of the strongest giant in all of Elbaf, the one able to shake worlds or destroy worlds. And yet he has his eyes blindfolded. He's telling Luffy, be quiet in my presence. You do not speak unless I allow it. You will not speak without my permission, human. And Luffy's just barely letting the guy get a word in edgewise because he's just happy to be here. He's just excited about this predicament. So anyway, Loki asked him, what do you feel? What do you think about this situation I'm in? What do you make of this situation? And Luffy goes, you've got some chains, you're chained up. I absolutely love this line. But no man chooses to be chained, and I am no exception in this regard. I would rather be free. So a lot of thoughts on this. One, killer line. Absolutely brilliant line. No man chooses to be chained. But also, we still haven't determined yet, is Loki actually a baddie? Was there a legend made and embellished about his exploits, and that's what got him chained up because there was a plot against him, but he didn't actually do the things that he's being imprisoned for? Is he going to be on our side? Is he going to be the antagonist of this arc? I don't think it's going to be that one. Or is he going to be something in between? I still kind of lean towards him potentially being a character like a Captain Jack Sparrow, or like a Loki from Norse legend, where he sometimes fights on the side of the giants and sometimes on the side of the humans. But the point is, you never really know. In this story, obviously the giants and the humans intermingle more than they do. The point is, we won't know. Like, sometimes he seems to be helping us and sometimes he seems to be against us. A trickster god, one that does what he wants. and isn't allied necessarily to a person, more so just to himself. I think it would be fun if from moment to moment you never really know if you can trust Loki, because he doesn't necessarily feel like I'm allied to you, or I'm allied to you, or I like these ideals, or I owe you anything. His ideal would be, his ideal form of freedom would be, I'm free to do what I want, whether it's on your side or your side, whether I'm helping you one moment and then stabbing you in the back the next, whether I let that person die, doesn't matter. I do what I feel in the moment, and that's how I'm free. Not how I would recommend living your life, if you wanted my advice, but for the sake of a wild card character, could be really fun to watch. So wherever Loki is going to land in the moral spectrum, I'm curious to see where that will be and what that's going to look like for his character. But the fact that he's talking about no man chooses to be chained up and that he personally wants to be free has me thinking Luffy is going to be unchaining him sooner rather than later, because Luffy would agree that no man should be chained against his will, even if maybe he isn't necessarily the moral, the model of moral goodness, Luffy would still say, you know what? Yeah, you shouldn't have these chains on. Maybe everyone around him is screaming, Luffy, no, don't do that. And he's just like quietly whistling while he unlocks the chains. Anyway, he wants Luffy to go and find the key to unchain him. He tries to bribe him. He's like, I'll kill someone off for you. And Luffy's like, no thanks. I could kill them off if I felt like it. I mean, he didn't say that, but that was my mind. Like, if Luffy has a problem with someone, he'll handle it. He doesn't need you. But of course, Loki doesn't know who Luffy is. He thinks that he's just talking to some dope who won't stop talking. But he tries bribing him with a special favor. He tries intimidating him with these beasts that he's befriended that are very terrifying looking, but of course Luffy just befriends them too. So as of right now, Luffy has not agreed to go find the key. I'm all for it. Even though Loki very well could be a terrible person, I love a good key quest. So if we're going to go around the village and see more of Elbaf and go find a giant key that will probably be hidden in plain sight and Luffy will completely miss, I want that adventure. Like, that sounds like such a fun little mini adventure to get Loki free in the next, 4 chapters. And then who knows, and then Loki turns on them all and he's like, you mortal fools, allow me now to take over, reclaim Elbaf, and, kill my brother, or whatever, I don't know. Another scene that I loved was when, Loki brought up Shanks and Luffy's like, you know Shanks? And he goes, you know Redbeard or Red Hair? And they're both smiling at each other and it looks so happy. And then Loki dares to insult Shanks. And immediately I'm like, oh, Luffy's gonna be mad. But then I turn the page. Sorry, my chapstick fell. And then I turn the page, and it's not that he's mad, it's that Luffy has already started attacking. Like, we didn't even see the wind-up, we didn't even see the tonal change in him, we just instantly into, no, I'm fighting now. It's time to get you, it's time to take you out. Which I actually really liked, because Luffy is very defensive over Shanks and has shown himself to be, if you insult one of my friends, if you make one of my friends cry, I'm not gonna hold back on you. And obviously Shanks isn't in the corner crying, that we can see. But I do like that Luffy is so loyal to Shanks that he kind of flies off the handle when Shanks is spoken of in this way. It maybe isn't what Shanks would be, because if someone insulted Shanks to his face, then he would just laugh it off and be like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm a coward, why not? But if someone insults or hurts one of Shanks's crew members or a kid that he cares about, then he's gonna turn violent. And for Luffy, someone who maybe isn't as even-keeled as Shanks or as mature as Shanks, he might attack a little bit faster. And it just continues to show Luffy's love for Shanks and his loyalty to him. I love that Luffy just barely missed him on Elbaf, and he's like, is Shanks still here? Is he still around? Like, he's excited to see his old friend, and he just barely missed him. But he was here, and he's clearly had a big effect on this island, because Loki's been locked up for 6 years. As my patrons pointed out to me when I was reading this chapter, Shanks became Yonko 6 years ago. So if Loki is insulting Shanks, even in jest calling him a coward, there might be some bad blood there. There might be some hurt feelings. These two things might be connected. I think I remember that the lore around Loki is that it took like all of the giants, or all the giant warriors, working together to pin down Loki and finally get him chained up. So it's not like I think Shanks single-handedly, got Loki to where he is now. But I mean, he might have been a big factor in it. He might have been part of the manpower or, the bait that was used to catch him off guard, or I don't know. There's a lot of options, but it seems like it's possible that Shanks played a role in why Loki is here right now. Either way, there's a lot of bickering back and forth between them where he's like, I'm just kidding, relax, I'm unarmed, I'm chained up, I can't defend myself. And Luffy's like, well, maybe don't make me mad like this. And what did he say? Next time you say something like that, I'll embed you into that tree. And Loki's like, you wouldn't dare, idiot. So like they're snipping back and forth at each other. I could definitely see after Luffy gets the key if we go that route and unchains Loki, them continuing to just kind of snip back and forth at each other because they are so similar in many characteristics, like him calling Luffy by the wrong name, them both befriending Beast. They both are joyful and smiling even in what seems to be impossible situations. They both seem to care about freedom. Like there's a good amount. Oh yeah, they're both calling themselves. Well, Luffy isn't calling himself a sun god. He just is one, and Loki's calling himself a sun god. So there's a lot of things that make them that are connecting them right now. So having them also work side by side and constantly bickering back and forth, I think would be really fun. Anyway, in the meantime, we get a look at the Straw Hats who are running away from the new giant warriors, who are just carrying the Sunny with ease. We get a look at the new giant pirates hunting down Beast to feed to Luffy, which again, I mean, I think Luffy can do it himself, but I appreciate y'all trying to take care of him. And finally, the chapter ends on Robin. So adorable. So the rest of the giant pirates and the rest of the Straw Hats have finally arrived on Elbaf, or at least are coming to the island near there. And in the meantime, Robin has requested her old haircut again because she wants Saul, I guess, to recognize her. Do you remember when she was a little girl and she saw her mom and she went running up to her and she goes, "Mom, it's me, your daughter. Do you remember me? I'm a little bit bigger now, but I'm still the same." Do you remember that? It's like one of the saddest lines in the entire series, in a series full of a lot of sad lines. I feel like there's a part of her that still is kind of locked into that. I wonder if he'll remember me, even though I've changed a lot. And it's like almost like she's trying to make herself look like her younger self again, giving Saul as much opportunity to remember her as possible to make it easier for them to have that connection. I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into it, but I wonder if there was a little bit of that there. But she's just excited to get her old haircut back. She's excited to see her old friend again that she thought was gone. I love everyone gathered around hyping Robin up. We have Bonnie, who's super excited about the haircut. Frankie saying, "I haven't seen that look on you in ages." Jinbei telling her that she looks stunning. All the giants gathered around her telling her that she looks great. Like, I love how much everyone around her is just hyping her up about this new haircut. Most of which this is a new haircut, but for a couple it's familiar and everybody's just like, "You look awesome, Robin." And they're excited for her to see her old friend and how excited she is about it and everything that she's doing to make that the best experience possible. So naturally, Oda, I don't know, throws him down the stairs. It's so rude. Like, I don't even care. If you're going to make Robin see him on his deathbed, they're gonna have one more awesome conversation, heart to heart, really clear the air and be able to relate again. She can show Saul that, yes, that last thing that you told me to do, which was to find my people because I'm not meant to live alone. You were right. I did find my people. I'm not alone. I was able to accomplish the last thing that you wished for me and for my life. I succeeded at that. Like, if she could just tell him that and then he gets to laugh with her one more time, I'll be so happy. And I don't know if Oda's actually planning on killing him off right now. I'm just begging him to just wait until they have that one last chat. Then do it. If you feel that you haven't made me cry enough lately and you want to give me one more reason to sob, fine. At least let me have that conversation first. Let him say, "Robin, you haven't changed. I recognize you perfectly. I love your hair." And then for her to say, "You gave me hope that there might be a future for me. And you were right. I did find my people. I didn't believe it for a while. I gave up on that dream. I didn't think that was for me. But it turns out they were out there. I found them. And I want you to know that I'm happy." And then he can tell her that he read up on the Void Century. He can show her where the books are or tell her where to find them. They can have one last conversation together. They can laugh together. She can cry. I can cry. And then she can go read her books and get some of her answers. Like, give me that, Oda. Is it so hard? Do you hate me this much that you want to kill him before I get that? Genuinely, I will be mad. Genuinely, I will be mad if we cut this short. I'm gonna need this meeting. I think it'll come. I think we're gonna get it. Anyway, naturally, this is the scene that T-Scene depicted for us this week. I'm just gonna read T-Scene's email to you because I thought what she said was so sweet. There's just so much emotion in the Robin scene, so I wanted to make it soft and warm, a little bit cinematic. I wanted to highlight so much in her eyes, like fondness and quiet anticipation, despite the trauma that she and Saul shared. T-Scene has done a couple of other close-up images lately of Straw Hats, and I'm loving getting these scenes. And Robin is one that I would expect to have a really hype moment, like, you know, Demon Robin from Wano. But I love that she got such a soft, tender scene, because this is the side of her that is very much a part of her, but one that we don't actually get an emphasis on nearly as often. As always, T-Scene is linked in the description, so please do be sure to show her some love. Anyway, that's the chapter. It was very much we've just entered into a new island, we're establishing some things, we're getting some people into place, we're building up to the action of it. So because of that, it wasn't a big hype chapter. I don't have that much to say about it, but there were a couple of key, really great moments that I was excited to talk about. I would love to chat with you more in the comments though, so please do chat with me more about it, and I will see you again soon. Bye.